Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chord Dave and you are a lovely person. Thanks for joining us. Saturday night, Chord Dave live, totally live, honestly, not recorded, not an AI figment of someone's imagination, I swear. But Saturday night, so sláinte to you. And yes, that was a long time coming. What a week. Hope you're doing well. Hope you enjoyed all the stuff that came out this week, Epiphones and all sorts of crack. The Batwing headstock is back, which we'll talk about, I'm sure. All kinds of things to talk about, all kinds of things coming, which we'll talk about as well. And don't forget, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button so you can say hello to us. We got some birthdays this week too, so prepare yourself, because I promised I would sing happy birthday this week. I haven't forgotten. I've been worried about it all week. Here we go. Let's get into the chat and see how things are. Hope you're all doing well. Scott Bogfoot, of course, was here. He says, hi, Richard, which is weird. Richard Clark was here as well. Great to see you guys popping in early. Scott says, Dia Gutch Dave, how the heck do you even pronounce words in Irish? Very carefully, Scott. Yeah, it's a weird language, but it's fun. It's also fun because a lot of Irish people don't know how to speak it. I'm not great at it myself. I can understand it a lot better than I can speak it, but yeah, I think I saw T in the comments a little bit there. He might know a bit better than I, but yeah, just, you know, I could have responded to that in Irish, but you wouldn't have a fucking clue what I was saying, so it's all good. James Severin says, hello, Chord Dave, my Irish brother. Great to see you, James. Hope you're well, man. And Buglips is here as well, early, but still not as early as Bogfoot. You can't be. He's ahead of everybody. Although, Scott, I do hope you're not under a bridge anymore. And if you want to know what that's all about, head over to Scott's very own YouTube channel, where for some reason he was under a bridge today. I still don't understand why, but he was. So be careful out there, Scott. Hope you're doing all right, man. Buglips says, I've been going flat out, making rapid gains. Feel like Barkley on TNG when he had a supercomputer mind. All right. Was it TNG The Next Generation? All right, sweet. The heat's not so bad. It's just no damn wind, so it just sits in you and slowly cooks. I bought more pedals. That's what it'll do to you. The heat makes you buy more pedals and all kinds of guitar-related crap. So just be prepared. That's what happens. But anyway, you say, I forgot to buy a compressor last time, and when I went to get it, I saw Donner had a black pedal called Metal Something and said, well, you can't have too many distortion pedals. I mean, no one's going to argue with you about distortion. You'll need a pedal board soon, says Scott. And he says, then it turned out there are two black distortion pedals and the other one's called a dark mouse. The description said as a ratty sound. Oh, I wonder what they had copied there. I figured since Rat Nasty has been doing good and putting in hard work, it deserved a treat. This is very interesting. I wore the plastic wrap off the pickguard yesterday. It was a job getting it all peeled off and the strings still on it, but it had to go, and I'm waiting for bits to change the strings again. Yeah, taking the plastic off, that's a what do you call it, a rite of passage, I suppose, on any new guitar. I'm just at that point now where it's the first thing I do, rip that plastic off, and then you feel like you own it and you can't return it unless you do return it. And Booklips also says, I also got some learning books for some of that book learning. Yeah, book learning's still valid. You know, people on the internet do learning too, but book learning's still good. I have some in my bookshelf there, which I look at occasionally. But you know, just stuff. Occasionally I'll pick something up like that when I'm browsing the shelves on Amazon or somewhere. So there you go. Anyway, it's all good. Dude, Ryan's here as well. Great to see you, Ryan. Yeah, always good to see you. And Chris from Coburg is here. So he's going to have a 20-minute nap, BRB. Cool. He's here to make us hungry, as he always is. Always does, I should say. But good stuff, Chris. Hope you're well, man. Where are we now? In the chat. I'm full of Jamaican chicken and beer. Nice, man. Uh, yeah, that's, I mean, hey, beer. Yeah, good for you, man. Um, wake me up when Dave goes live. Hopefully somebody has woken up Chris. I don't know. Um, yeah, as I'm still a little bit behind. That's what this is going to happen. Uh, Buglip says, okay, we'll even do it nicely and not like just pee on you. Everyone remind me not to fall asleep when Buglips is around. Please, that'd be great. Although, I think my friends are worse than that. So, hey, it's all good. Marcia's here, nice and early. Great to see you. Marcia says, smash the button the like button before I smash you. Ah, there we go. That's such a nice thing to say. Great to see you, Marcia. Hope you're doing well. And Ben Allmark is here. Great to see you, Ben. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Says, how's everyone this fine evening? Doing well, Ben. You know, it's that time of year, I think, where everybody could use a break. Everybody is like, you know what? I need to just chill a little bit. That's where I am. I kind of need to chill. I need to take a little bit of time away just from my day job. I just kind of sick of it, but it's fine. You know, not to go too far into it, because I know people from my job now know about my YouTube channel, so I can't talk too much about it, but our product is very broken and it makes everyone's job harder that it's broken. So if the people who could fix it would fix it, that'd be great, and we wouldn't all be stressed out all the time. It's not so much stressed out, just wouldn't be annoyed all the time. Things be broken. Anyway, that's not anything to do with guitars or guitar related content, so I'll shut up about it. Corey is here. Great to see you, Corey, man. Hope things are good with you, and thanks for your beer chat on the Facebook group this week. I enjoyed it. Hope everyone had a great week. Don't forget to hit all those buttons for Dave. Indeed, hit them all, and we will have some fun this evening, I'm sure. Scott says 100 likes, and Dave throws out one piece of his landlord's left behind furniture rubbish. Dude, it's getting that close, because I've got stuff I want to do and I've no room for it, and I need to have extra space, and now I'm like, there's a load of crap over there. It's like literally half the room. I could just use that space. So anyway, yeah, it's getting close. He might need to replace some beds and stuff when he gets the house back. So yeah, 100 likes or so, and it might all go. Jack Collins is here. Great to see you, Jack. Hope all's well in Louisiana. Says, cheers everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, we hope you're doing well, Jack. And John Brad's here as well. I'd like to hear from everyone on a few subjects today. What are your favorite guitar picks, and how do you adjust your Strat guitar pickups, and how do you set up your volume and tone controls? Great questions, John. Hopefully folks will answer. I don't play a Strat very often, so I'm not going to give you any answer to that. And my honest answer on picks is, as long as it feels firm enough, that'll do for me. So there we go. And get tones just depend. Tone and volume knobs on any guitar. Just turn it to 10 and then keep turning them down until you get the sound you want. That's what I do. But I don't recommend anyone copies what I do in any way. Vincent Doyle is here, says, evening chaps and chapettes. Great to see you, Vincent. Hope you're well, man. And Matt Van Bosch is here as well. So good to see Matt popping in. Hope you're doing good, Matt. And looking forward to hearing some new music from you, Matt. It's been a while. Should get some new music going on that. Because we had some good stuff from you before. Jess is here as well. Good to see you, Jess. Says, hey Dave, no pressure, but if you sing on midnight, you'll be singing in my mum's birthday. I mean, sounds like pressure, but yeah, look, we'll do it. We'll save it till midnight then, in that case, or right at the end of the show, just in case, because there's folks who are like, midnight, that's a long way away. It's 2 hours away. So we'll do it towards the end of the show then, Jess, I guess. Yeah, so apologies. Also, it's probably good, because anyone who doesn't want to be tormented by my singing can just leave just before the end of the show. That'd be great. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But thanks for joining us, Jess. And yes, I haven't forgotten, promise. Jack Collins says, the way I do that, if I play Stevie Ray Vaughan and Eric Clapton, I am playing a Strat. If I'm playing something from Led Zeppelin, the such and such, I'm playing the Les Paul. Very good, Jack. Yeah, I mean, that works. Interesting stuff indeed. Buglip says, I legit forgot to smash the like button until Marcia tells me to, even though I know it's there and mean to do it every time. dude, you listen, the like button's great. It's great if you remember to hit the button on the videos and stuff like that. But honestly, I think a lot of people just forget it's a thing, even though most YouTube people tell you to hit the like button. People just ignore that and forget about it. So don't ever worry about it. It's all good. Law of averages, it kind of just evens out over the month on the number of views you get. So it's all good. If you miss one, you're okay. If you miss two, we got to talk. But you know, once you hit it once or twice a month, you're doing all right. But thanks, man. I do appreciate it. And I do appreciate all the guys saying, hey, don't forget to hit the buttons, because that is helpful. Scott Dogfoot, I like that. So I hope you're doing well, says Jack. Indeed. Very good stuff. John says, I'm thinking about doing a video about my favorite guitar picks. Good stuff, John. Let us know if you do, and we'll all check it out. Along with yourself, of course. Scott says, anyone new here, welcome. You will have to subscribe, then wait 1 minute before you can chat in the best chat on YouTube. Indeed. Yeah, you just gotta subscribe and stick around for a minute and then say hello. And if it's your first Chord Dave live experience, make sure you do hit the like button and also say hello to us, because we want to get to know you and corrupt you with the things that we say. Jack Collins says, John, I love all kind of music, but my favorite is the blues. I also quite enjoy the blues, so yeah, I'm with you on that. Buglips says, I also don't know if Masha is Marsha, but the YouTube name is missing an R, and if she's Masha, and everyone says it wrong. I'm fairly sure it's missing an R, because she's Marsha on Facebook, right? I think. You're confused. I'm lost now. I should know. But there you go. John, I love hearing about string and plectrum preferences, says Scott. I mean, I guess, I think we seem to talk about those two things a lot on the channel, on the live streams anyway. So yeah, lots of content for you to dig through in that regard. William Forrest is here. Great to see you, William. Hope you're well, man. And Glenn Bailey is here, I think, for the first time. So it's great to see Glenn as well. Dropping in. We love to see the newbies. Only kidding, Glenn. We love you all the time, for a long time. John says, I like the nylon jazz picks. I don't care for the Tortex picks. Oltex chirps too much. Hey, so that's all good, John. If that's it sounds like you have some very good opinions on it. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. In-depth video you do. It'll be cool. Todd Moore's here. Great to see you. Todd says, my goodness, is it Saturday again already? Hope everyone is doing all right. Hello, Dave. Hey, Todd. Hope you are well, my friend. Yes, good Saturday already. It's crazy how quick time is going at these moments. John says, I'm a blues man. Me too, John. Good stuff indeed. T is here, says, hey, Chord Dave. Hello to all in chat. Greetings from the kingdom. You're going to confuse a lot of people saying the kingdom, but I'm going to leave you to it. Richard Clark says, so I have to subscribe here and then wait a minute so I can chat with Trogley. Yeah, why not, man? I mean, he pops in from time to time just to see are we still calling him Geek Lord or not. But it'd be funny if he did, wouldn't it? Jack Collins says, John, I like him nylon jazz picks too. All right, so that's 2 votes for jazz picks. I mean, I think they're all right. Marsha says, Buglips, my real name is Marsha. My Jewish name is Masha. They're both technically right, but I go by Marsha for the most part. Well, there you go. See, so everybody's right. Good stuff. Thanks for clearing that one up, Marsha. And Scott Bugfoot says, Batwing. Yes, I had a lot of fun with the Batwing stuff this week. Let me know what you think of those new Epiphones, by the way, guys. I think they're fine. I think they're priced too high, but that's what I think everything about Epiphones is right now. I think they're making nice guitars that are overpriced, and I think it's going to hurt them in the long run. There's a lot of stuff from Epiphone either being heavily reduced right now or just not selling. But it's the summer, so it's not really the high sale season. You're talking from September onwards. If they don't sell, then they'll be worried. So see how it goes, because there's some big releases coming, as we know, and some that we don't know about. I'm pretty sure they're lining up a Slash release for next month as well. It could be sooner than that, so keep an eye on things from them. But yeah, things like they're trying to drive sales using those signature artist stuffs. So anyway, let me know what you think the new ones that came out, though. The Epiphone 150th anniversary. Nice guitars for the most part, except I really hate the orange color they put on the Crestwood Custom. But hey, some people love it, so good for them. Anyway, we'll talk more, I'm sure, if you guys have thoughts in the comment section. I see. Thanks for clearing that up. It was confusing me for sometimes as Bug Lips. And Glenn says, happy birthday, Rosie. Indeed, should have said that earlier. Happy birthday to Rosie, if she watches. You know who else has a birthday tomorrow, don't you? That guy who haunts the channel from time to time. We'll talk about him later. You know, the muddy guy. We'll talk about him. Marcia says, Marcia's on my birth certificate. Chinese and Greek people also have two names like that. Probably other cultures too. It's quite interesting. I did not know that. Cushman NYC says, hey all, great to see you, Cushman. Hope you're doing well over there. And DMAC is here as well. Hope you're doing well as well, DMAC. Always great to see you. Says, happy birthday to the birthday people. Indeed, happy birthday to all the birthday people. Why not? John says, I use a 12-string set and make my own. For your strings, good stuff, man. That's cool. Yeah, I'd like to make a video about that too. It's all good. Todd Moore, Irish is a lot like Spanish. Just roll the R's and you'll be fine. No, no, it's complicated. Sometimes M's are V's, sometimes H's are G's. Sometimes it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you look at it on paper, but somehow it does all come together. Yeah, it's a fun language. I think it was my least favorite. No, maths was my least favorite subject in school, but Irish was probably second. I just didn't like my Irish teachers too much. They tended to be not my favorite teachers. So anyway, that's a whole other story. Jack Collins says, Cushman NYC, glad to see you, my brother. Glad to see the community love spreading around. John says, Scott, I love gravity picks like chirp, but they chirp like crazy. Interesting stuff indeed. Mark says, yeah, I confuse everyone too, so does my last name. And I'll read the rest of that comment when I find it again. There we go. No, I see, so, there we go. Few people get it right. I'm used to it. I'm a very confusing and confused person. My surname, people never say my surname correctly. So, I mean, most people can get Dave correctly, so, but it's my surname that people don't. 3 chord. They're like, what? 3? As in three chords? What? Anyways, today was Ruttlemania Day on my channel. It was indeed, and I quite enjoyed it, Scott. It was cool. I watched, I think I only saw 4 of them, but I see you've added a 5th, maybe a 6th. I definitely saw 1 to 4, and they were fun. Where are we now? Jack Collins says, Chord Dave, I'm loving them 3 SG specials I bought last week. Good, man. I'm so happy because, yeah, 3 SG specials, it's like the best time ever. Do love an SG special, if you hadn't guessed. Corey says, did anyone get any new gear or start any new projects this week? Let me see. I don't think I can tell you too much about what I'm doing so far. The guitar kit I purchased got lost in the post, interestingly. So it never got delivered, so I got a refund for that. So I'm hunting for a new kit for the DIY kit project thing we're going to do. I have found a European supplier of StewMac kits, so I've never purchased StewMac anything. So if you guys, I know they have pretty good reputations. If you guys have experience with them, let me know, because then I can say, yeah, I'll go buy one of those instead. So I'll probably be looking at buying a Les Paul kit. If you've bought a StewMac kit in the past and you had a good experience, let me know. If you had a bad experience, let me know in the comments in the chat here today as well, because I'll probably have to pick one of those up this week or next week. It's payday next week, so probably next week. And what else have we got? New project. Oh, I bought a guitar. It should be here in a few weeks. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I will tell you something about it. It's going to be controversial. Channel's going to blow up. Controversy because of it. So anyway, we will see how you guys feel about it when it gets here. But yeah, let us know if you did pick up any new stuff. Glenn Bailey says, Jack, that was a great deal you got. Indeed. I was thinking about that during the week, actually, that three SG specials. Wish I could get 3 SG specials for that kind of money. Marcia says, by the way, where is Dave? Tardy today. There's no such thing as tardy on this show, Marcia. I don't know why you're trying to put me in timeout, but it ain't happening. No, I was on time, wasn't I? Maybe a few seconds. I don't know. But yeah, just we don't have tardiness. It's all good. No hall passes needed. Booklip says, everyone always pronounces my name wrong because it's spelled Booglips, but it's pronounced Fred. All right, Fred. Thanks. We'll just keep calling you Fred. It's all good. Is the music louder tonight? Yeah, possibly. If it's too loud, let me know. I'll find out in about an hour. And but it is definitely a little bit louder. I felt it was too low the last couple of weeks. Because it's just bubbling under, but it's just distracting. When I was watching the stream back, it felt like it was just like, what's that bloody sound? So I just turned it up just a touch. So hopefully it's there, and it's there for a reason. So YouTube likes it. Bent Tom says, you are obviously a great human. Cheers with the $10 super chat. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate that. Thank you so much with the super chat. Super cool of you. And very much appreciated, sir. And I do my best to be a good human. So, hopefully I can live up to that for you. Thanks, man. Marcia says, would be totally funny is he just didn't show up. I'm guessing technical difficulties or potty emergency. Marcia, what's going on? Because I was here at right on time. Did something happen? Is the timing off or something? Because yeah, I was on time. I don't know. You can it's streaming. I can see that you can see me. So I don't know. What's going on? No potty emergencies. I'm well practiced at running live shows and being prepared in that regard. But there you go. Glenn says, I don't know where Dave is, but his alter ego, Hot Cocoa, is here. Glenn. That's why we love you, man. Andrew Collins says, just purchased a PRS hollow body piezo guitar. This guitar sounds great. Those are really nice guitars, Andrew. So, yeah, congrats. That's super cool. And, yeah, enjoy. Marcia says, Booglips and Fred are spelled very similarly. Indeed. Glenn says, Marcia, Dave is live now. There you go. See, Glenn's got my back. I like it. Very, very cool. John says, Scott, I agree. The music a little loud, or Dave not loud enough. All right. Maybe I'll just turn it down just a touch. All right. Even Glenn is saying the music's a bit loud. Jeez, better turn it down even further. All right. There we go, guys. Interaction has been noted. Mark Toolin says, hey all, hangover today, got on it last night. Hey man, that's part of the game. Sometimes if you're on it, you got to pay the price tomorrow. But hopefully we can get you through it. DMAX says, recent gear for me is a Gretsch Streamliner G2622 2622. I never know how to say it that way. Nice alternative to the Epi 335 dot etc. Less money too. Those Gretches are really nice, man. Yeah, I like a lot of what they're putting out there. Todd says, sounds good to me, but then I like my music. See, I got to turn it back up now. So good man, Todd. See, you and I are on the same wavelength. Music should be loud. And then you don't have to listen to me too much either. So that's a win-win in my opinion. John Bratt says, I live in San Diego, California, and it's 104 here and the humidity is 90. That's pretty hot, John. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's in Ireland we don't do very well once it hits the 70s or so, because we're not built for it. We're not set up for it at all. We don't have air conditioning and all that sort of stuff in most places. So it does hit a lot differently, the heat here. I've been in 104 in California and survived. Been fine. It's hot, but it's fine. But if it got there here, I think people would melt. So it's an interesting one. Richard Clark says, why is there music in the background? Is there a metric or something that says it holds attention or something? So Richard, it's complicated. I don't really understand it. But I was speaking to some YouTube people, not actually from YouTube, but people who know a lot about YouTube, and they said to me, on your live streams, is there, like, on your videos you have a music bed on the video, just to kind of keep things from going silent at all times, and you should also do that on your live streams, because it apparently is a good thing, and it's like another checkbox off on the YouTube thing. So it apparently helps, because YouTube will, like, the algorithm or whatever, it doesn't like to see any dead silence, and so that stops it. So even if I'm reading something or something goes wrong or whatever, that music will keep playing and there'll be no dead silence. So yeah, that's why it's there. And I don't know if it's true or if it works or if it's not a thing or whatever, but it's worth having it just to see. It doesn't cost me anything, so it's all good. Scott says, I wasn't going to say it's too loud, but see, man. And then John says, Dave, please turn down your background music. I can't hear you. I mean, you can try to turn it up, man, but here we go. I'll turn it down. So we've got some people can't hear, some people can hear. I don't know, man. So anyway, we'll turn it down for the people who don't like it. Corey says, as long as it feels firm enough, that'll do for me. The next T-City t-shirt. I mean, hey, there's lots of t-shirt ideas coming from the live streams, which I like. Anyway, it's all good. Scott says, keeps the monsters away. Yeah, why not? I'm sure you probably can't hear it at the moment. I would imagine it's gone way too, what you call it? There you go, too low. Anyway, I'll check it out on the live stream when I watch it back tomorrow or whenever. If you live in San Francisco, the heat is the least of your worries, says Richard. There you go. And Marcia says, oh my God, my YouTube didn't refresh this time. Thanks, YouTube. See, I knew you were giving me shit for no reason. Yeah, Dave gonna be like, huh? Exactly. What the hell? Let me see. John says, Dave, if I can figure out a way to get where you live, can I hide there from the heat? I mean, you know, I don't know, maybe. There's nowhere to put you. There's no room, John. So if you can find somewhere, absolutely. But yeah, there's nowhere else to go. John says my screen keeps freezing. YouTube saying the stream quality is good, John, so I don't know, maybe it shouldn't be having issues like that. It seems to be going through all right. So I don't know. If anyone else having issues, let me know. Glenn says, I've been playing with Dunlop medium picks lately. I like the feel of them better than Fender. Those are, I mean, I like them. I like them too. John says, I do like Dunlop Gator picks. And Richard says, first it says 104 degrees, then it says things are freezing. Then he says things are freezing. I get you. I like what you did there. And Matt Van Bosch says, I think I've recommended them before, but I really like Dunlop Flow Range. Great picks. Yeah, I think you have actually recommended those before, Matt. I remember you saying that. But good stuff. Indeed, I shall try and remember. Ben Tom says, I'm new as well. Well, great to have you here, Tom. It's always good for the new folks to join us, so we do appreciate it. Jess says, thanks, Dave. I got a message from her last week to say you're better than her brothers because you remember her birthday. Well, there you go. I do try to be better than most people's brothers, so including my own brother. What? Anyway, thanks, Jess. I'll do my best. You know, I won't win any Emmys for my singing. Did it give out Emmys for singing? Probably not. Like best soundtrack or best original song. And, you know, Happy Birthday won't be an original song, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully nobody's screen will break when I start singing, but there's no promises. Corey says, I'm not a pick guy. I prefer to just use my fingers. That could go on a t-shirt. Yeah, Jared James Nichols does it, right? So it was good enough for him. I still don't understand how he does that, though. Because he sounds ridiculous. In a good way, obviously. Billy Fields says, great afternoon, everybody. Great afternoon to you, Billy. Hope you're doing well, man. Scott says, no freezing here. Maybe reboot your modem. If I ever have issues, I just pulls the plug and it plugs it back in like a caveman. Caveman, you invented turn it off and turn it back on again. Yeah, that's literally, having worked in IT for a long time, is just like the show says, turn it off, turn it back on again. It is 9 times out of 10 solves the problem. So yeah, good stuff. Who we got here? Richard says, I've been using a few types of V-Picks and I think I am stuck for life. Interesting, Richard. Yeah, I haven't spent a lot of time playing with them, to be honest, but maybe next time I pick up some picks, I will get some. Glenn says, I did get Martin Luck's pick this week. I'm digging the feel of it. Well, there you go. Interesting stuff. I haven't ever picked up one of those, so if I do, I'll let you know. Buglip says, Fred says, I don't have enough experience with pick brands. I just have a pile of Alice ones in different sizes. But I did get some new thick ones, and the 1.2 millimeter get me get on quite well. There you go. If you get on quite well, that's all you need. Let's see. Good to see you, my brother, says Tom to Cushman. Great stuff indeed. Dave, it goes to 11. I mean, for those of you complaining about the background music being too loud, it was at about 20%. So yeah, I think if you also, and I think Todd will back me up here, if you complain about the music being too loud, you are getting old, my friend. I think I'm getting old, so you know. Just kidding, of course. Just kidding. Don't take any offense to that. We're not allowed to get offended at this group, but yeah, it's all good. Well, I'll keep experimenting until it's right. You know, it's all good. Jack Collins says, hello, Ben, Tom. Hope you're doing well, my brother. Let me see what else we got. Scott says, is the Batwing headstock guitar a bolt-on neck? No, I don't think so. No. No, it's not, in fact. Right? Just off the top of my head, I can't. Pretty sure it's not. But yeah, because I would have pointed that out in the video, I'm pretty sure. Richard, Dave's arm has jaundice. Better lay off the beer. No, it's just, you know what it is? It's just the light look. It's all good. In fact, having the beer is better, I think is what it is. Plus that light over there is a funny color. But thanks for your concern, Richard. I do appreciate it. I won't probably lay off the beer too much. Fender is getting ready to raise their prices in August, says Glenn. Yeah, but they're bringing out new guitars as well. There's a new Ventura 2 series coming. It's got leaked yesterday, maybe today. I saw it anyway. They look fine, but you know, basically just relaunching similar models to the last one with different colors and stuff like that. Some of them look pretty cool. Haven't had time to go through them all yet, but some nice stuff starting about $1,100, I think. But we'll get through to those, I am sure. Todd Moore says, new Epiphones are overpriced and underwhelming. I'd much rather have a Kramer, to be honest. Alien Tech Green Vanguard would be more likely to get my green. Yeah. You know, I think the thing with Epiphones is if they were reasonably priced, I think I would be much more excited about them, but they're not. And it's fine that they're not. Because people who want them will buy them, but the rest of us will be like, they're overpriced. And I get sick of saying it, and sometimes I think people get bored of, and I'm going to say this last week, I think people get bored of hearing me saying the same thing again and again, Todd, about Epiphones being overpriced. Out of those 4 guitars as well, I think the Sheraton is a standout. It's a really nice guitar. I like that they're using mini humbuckers though, but on all 4 of them. But I don't like that basically 2 of the guitars are more or less identical. Obviously the Crestwood, the Wilshire, there's small differences between them, but they're not massively different. I would have liked to see them do something else there. Something a bit unique, perhaps. Maybe a new model. It was a great opportunity to launch a new model, but I get why they didn't. So yeah, I don't know, man. If it was me, and you're saying, okay, you get one of the 4, give me the Sheraton. I think that's really nice. Wouldn't be super impressed with the others. They're fine. But I think where it comes is some people really love those Wilshires and the Crestwoods that came out a few years ago at this stage. And they get to, if they really dig them, they can buy those new ones with the Gibson pickups in them. And I think that's pretty cool. But they are overpriced. They should still be a lot less. than they are. But hey, we're going to be talking about Epiphones being super expensive for a long time. I'm pretty convinced the Dave Grohls are going to be $15.99, by the way, at a minimum. So hold your breath for those ones. Cushman says, I got some edibles strawberry. But I mean, there you go. That's like the fourth time that word has come up in conversations today, not just on YouTube. So I don't know. The universe is trying to tell me something. I'm not quite sure what it is. Bosch says, I'm sure we're going to see some huge price reductions in the next 6 months or so. There will be deals to be had. That's a good idea, Matt. I hope you're right. I did see I think we're going to see more retailer sales, perhaps, to clear warehouses and stuff. I think they're going to have to, because there's a lot of stuff just not selling that they've expected to sell quite well for some brands. And also, I've been doing a lot of research myself on different brands that I think maybe offer better value. So I'm going to start doing some stuff about those soon. Not to be like anti-Epiphone or anything, or anti-Gibson, because you guys know I'm a big fanboy of both of those companies. I just think they're taking some ridiculous steps. But hey, yeah, I think there's some sales. Like as somebody, I think, mentioned it last week on the stream here, the Epiphone Dave Mustaine's massively reduced in price in a couple of retailers. Anderton's have the prophecy for $1,099, which in the UK is like £500. That's a significant discount. It's like 33% off. It's like they're trying to sell them at cost price. Now, I don't know what the cost price is, but it seems like that's a massive discount on that guitar already. So if you want to buy one off Anderton's, you'll save a lot of money right now. But yeah, I don't think the prices are sustainable as they are. Benny Larson is here. Great to see you, Benny, man. Hope things are well with you. Says they're set neck, Scott, and hi. Thanks for confirming, Benny. Yeah, I was pretty sure they were. I think I would have noticed it, I think, and said it in the video if they weren't. So yeah, very cool. Todd says, I'm not surprised about the Fender price hike. Yeah, it's kind of how it goes. Every few months now we're getting one. So we got some stuff. What do we got? I've got traded for moving trash from my basement. Oh, I see you guys are talking about some stuff. I got to be careful which comments I do pick up. John made a comment. I'm just going to try and ignore that one. It brings together all the things that I can't say on YouTube, or shouldn't. I shouldn't. Ed Axman says, "Why not Crimson?" What do you mean, Ed? Do you mean the Crimson guitars or Crimson as a color? Crimson as a color is a great color. I like it. But let me know. I'm not quite sure what you mean by the question. Why not Crimson? Let me see. Scott says, in Epiphone land, what guitar would you rather see the Batwing applied to? For me, 339 or Casino Coupe. A coupe would look awesome with a Batwing, in my opinion. If I was in control of that Epiphone, I'd be like, let's just play around a little bit. And I'd put Batwing headstocks on some things that they don't belong on, just to see how people reacted. But I like it as a novelty. I think in a lot of ways, I think they should do you can have any kind of headstock you want on Epiphones. Make every model available with every kind of headstock. Why not? It's not going to hurt anyone. But yeah, I just want them to do an S310 with a Batwing headstock. I know they won't do it because they're chicken, but it'd be funny if they did. Do a Firebird with one. Why not? Just for fun. They're not going to do anything I tell them to. Yeah, do a Firebird with a Batwing headstock. I think that'd be great. So yeah, let's see what else we've got. John says, question for anyone. I bought a great Harley Benton, but the volume knob only works from 5 to 9 on the knob. What's the question? Should you replace the pot or how to fix it? Yeah, probably just needs to be cleaned out, I think, which I think Scott did you mention a way to fix that last week? I think for Fred. So maybe you can help John out with that one. Marcia says, Todd, your comment makes me think about the value of imports versus import parts used to build in the US. Philosophical questions. Hey, there you go. Jack Collins says, Chord Dave, you must be getting an Epiphone, the Epiphone or Gibbs. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you guys which ones, but I will just yet. As soon as it's here, I'll do a video explaining what I'm doing. But there's also, there's probably going to be a couple of arrivals soon because there's a couple of things I want to look at. And whether I buy them for a long time and keep them for a long time, I don't know. I might just get them to see if they're as cool as I think they are. But that's the beauty. I can buy them and send them back if they're not absolutely exactly what I'm looking for. But I found a guitar. You guys know that there's one of the things I want and think will never happen is for Gibson to make a guitar that's basically a Les Paul crossed with an SG. Like I want the body width of an SG, but a Les Paul shape. I don't know how to explain it, but I think I found something that kind of goes like they've mashed those two together in a way, kind of crossover between. Anyway, well, I'll show you guys it soon, and we'll see what you think. It's gonna be fun. Corey says, I don't have any experience with StewMac kits, but I have some of their files and tools, and they are great. Expensive, but great. Cool, Tori. Yeah, I think it comes down to if they're going to be worth paying for, and they seem to be. A lot of really good reviews and stuff. So that's what I'm thinking. I've got a company in Spain who supplies pretty much all their tools as well, all their kits, all their different devices. They sell lots of different, I mean, not the whole thing, but like I think all the popular things. It's very interesting having a good look through them yesterday. Glenn says, I've been ordering from StewMac for 2 years now, never had any issues. Good stuff, Glenn. Thank you for that. That's important to me. I do appreciate it. Marcia says, Todd, we're all dead sometimes. We take turns. We definitely are. Especially when you're like, where's Dave? Why isn't he chatting? Why is he late? And you just missed the show, or the start of the show. Anyway, it's all good. It's all good. Jack Collins says, Glenn, on that too, I found a plastic on. I had to do level and crowning on the frets on two of them. Two of them SG, so I really don't come out too good. Didn't really come out too good. Well, there you go. But it's nice to pick up 3 guitars for that much money, man, and be able to fix them up. At least you can fix them up yourself. Let me see. So we're thanking Scott for moderating. This is the first time he's been thanked, so thanks, Tom. Appreciate that. William Forrest says the music is fine. Thanks, William. Appreciate your input, man. I do. Cushman says, I picked up a 91 Les Paul Honeyburst. It's a keeper. That sounds pretty cool. I like the sound of that. Marcia says, by the way, Todd, I don't disagree with you on the Epi price hike thing. I also don't agree that you might be better served with a Kramer. Problem is, Kramer primarily does shredder/metal. The Vanguards. I mean, if you're buying the Dave Mustaines, the Vanguard is their Flying V Mustaine from Kramer. I suppose V-shaped Mustaine one. And that's what he was talking about. I think that's the better of all of the Dave Mustaines. Like, I think it's the nicest one. It also is the least Gibson-y of them all. It's an interesting choice they made there because it does very much look like certain other guitar companies' V-shaped instruments. We can't get into trouble by saying it, because just in case Cesar pops in, because Cesar does from time to time pop in just to see what I'm telling you guys this week. But I've got nothing. Honestly, Cesar, I've got no leaks that are coming at the end of the show, I promise. Marcia says the other problem is that being built in the US doesn't mean they might not use crappy import parts sometimes, or that they QC might be any better. I'm just not going to say anything because I don't want to get in trouble. So if someone doesn't want a shredder/metal guitar, Kramer isn't where they're going to look to shop. I mean, that is primarily where they're known for, but I think that might be what you want if you want an Alien Tech green guitar. Just have a feeling. Billy Field says, please don't get me started. My brother knows a guy who played hockey who was a goalie. I prefer the English version, not the French version of his name. Guy Herbert, if you went to LaSalle Institute. Interesting stuff. I don't know anything about hockey, so I can't comment. Todd says, Marsha, did you just say being primarily metal is a problem? Metal fucking rules. I think Todd and Marsha just stopped being best friends. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, for sure. I also feel sorry for my sister-in-law. Every bad cookie joke. There you go. T says, rained here most of the day again, but have to admit I prefer this to the 40 degrees you're getting in some parts of Europe. I don't disagree with you, T. I think it's definitely better than 40 degrees for sure. John says, my name is John, but you pronounce it mangrove throat warbler. Wobbler? All right, John, if that's what... if that's... I just feel sometimes we all are weird. All of us. No one in particular. It's just weird. But I love you all. I hope you know that. Billy Field says, looking to buy new picks. Any recommendations? I like very thick picks. Lots of recommendations in the chat for you tonight, Billy. So yeah, you've come on the right occasion for sure. And Ryan says, I gave up the idea of making my own body for the guitar build. It's a lot more work than you'd think. When I get a workshop going, then I'll get to that. But for now, I'll use a kit. Cool, Ryan. Listen, it is a lot of work, and I think that's underestimated by almost everyone who tries to do it. Yeah, I did a similar thing a few years ago. So I'm going to start making guitars, and I started, and the first one is still not complete. We'll get there. But yeah, I do. It's something I want to do as well, is start from scratch and come up with something at least once. So we'll see how that goes in the future. But yeah, for now, start with the kit and see if I can do what I want to do with it. That's the plan. But it's all good. I'm looking forward. I think you're going to make something cool, and I do appreciate it. And Ryan, guys, but Ryan is active in our Facebook group. If you haven't joined our Facebook group, there's a link in the description to all the videos right at the top there. Join our new Facebook group. We have lots of folks sharing guitars and stuff that they have picked up and stuff. Ryan posted a cool one today. You should check out and join in the conversation. Sometimes it is making fun of your host, which is fine. Only when Muddy H2O is involved, but it's all good. We have a good time over there, so join us and have a good time too. Todd Moore says, actually, Marsha, the Kramer is made in the same factory as the Epiphones and even have Epiphone branded components, just like Squire's. Just kidding, they're not all made in the same factory. But yeah, the Kramers and the Epiphones basically made in the same place, just different designs and finishes. John says, Dave, we'd rather hear you. I get you, man. It's all good. Thanks for that. Glenn says, the V guitar I like is the Kramer Night V Plus. That's just interesting. So yeah. Todd says, yeah, those are cool too. I've played one before. That's all you need to know. Cool. Do Kramer have a trem system, and whose branding is on it? Or do they just offer a Floyd? That's a great question. Which I do not know the answer to. So I think Todd seems to know. So he might be able to help you out with that. Let me see. Marcia says, yes, Todd, but some Kramers are built in New Jersey from import parts, aren't they? I thought you were talking about their American line, but if you're comparing Chinese Kramers built with Epiphones, I don't think they make them in New Jersey anymore, do they? Not since the whole new thingamabob with Gibson and all. I could be wrong, but I don't think they do make them in New Jersey anymore. I'm probably wrong on that. Actually, you mentioned it. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of who's making what and where. There you go. Glenn says, does the volume knob have 11? Maybe we can compromise. It doesn't. No, it goes. It's one of those weird ones with decibels on it. So it's hard to know exactly the number. But right now it's on about 2. So hopefully you can still hear it. Todd says the Night Swan has a trem, and if I recall correctly, it's a Floyd Rose licensed of some type. Interesting. Everyone louder than everything. Everything louder than everything else. It's a Lemmy comment. Indeed, Lemmy, with the words of wisdom. It's got to be loud, otherwise, what's the fucking point? Marcia says, what's the difference? Why would you pick a Kramer over an Epiphone at that point? Different design, probably, I would imagine. Different design, different. Are they different pickups? They are different pickups, but yeah, I think they're just a nicer design, a better design. Ryan says, I played a Kramer today. It was the more expensive one, about 1,400 Canadian. Felt all right, but not as nice as the cheaper Ibanez. So there you go. Ibanez making some nice guitars lately too. Marcia says, trying to understand where you're coming from in this one, Todd, because then they're basically going to have the same parts, QC, etc. Kramers aren't as complex to build. They're overpriced too. They're all overpriced. That's true. And Todd says, Marcia, because oddly, they do have slightly better QC and features. The new Epiphone. Dave, Prophecy V, doesn't have Dave's pickups in it. The Kramer does. Simply choice in my... That's a good point, because they have the Fishman Fluences, don't they? The custom... Is the custom... One of the... the Prophecy, yeah, the Prophecy. That's the one that's marked down at the moment for to £1,000 from $1,599. So... as far as I'm aware, from what I've heard, those are not selling very well. Really, they over they just over everything. They're for the money. They're not comparable to they're not favorable to other V's on the market. Even there's Prophecy V's with very similar specs that are not Dave Mustaine's, like less than almost $1,000 less. So crazy money for one of those, to be honest. And Todd says, go play them both, then you will understand. There you go. There you go. Yeah, the Mustaine Kramer V is much better on paper. I heard the QC wasn't so great for a little while on those Kramer Vs, but maybe they worked that out by now. I hadn't heard that, but hey, I hadn't been paying attention to them too much other than when they came out initially. So yeah, it's possibly true. I know they were quite popular, so they were pushing out a lot of them. And Jack Collins says, if I was going to own a Kramer, it had to be a 1986 model. All the rest of them that I've tried lately has been junk. There you go, Jack. I haven't played any Kramers, so I can't chime in on that, but that's interesting to hear. And Ricky Compton says, hey everyone. Hey Ricky, hope you're doing well, man. Let me see what else we got here. I have the Mustaine Gibson Rust in Peace V, and mine was perfect QC wise. Yeah, the Gibson ones are supposed to be quite good, but again, I think they made too many of them. There's too many different variations. But yeah, I've heard good reports on them. It's the Epiphone ones that I think are causing some confusion in the chat so far today anyway. Marge says, but that's just one particular model. I'm talking the whole brand versus brand. Is there a difference between the Epiphones built in the same factory versus Kramers that warrant a price hike? Well, it's kind of at the moment, like my feeling on it is that they seem to be doing Kramer is the cheap brand, Epiphone's the mid brand, and then obviously Gibson is the expensive brand. So there's more to come. There's going to be more of a differentiation between the three over the next few years, but that's definitely the road we're heading down. But they're for something like that, they had to put out a Kramer that was higher quality, for sure. And Todd says, Marcia disagreed that the Epiphone build is in any way better. I think it can't be way better because they're both being made in the same place by the same people. So I would imagine they're on par with each other. As with any guitar made in high numbers, there's going to be some good ones and some bad ones. So it's possible people who get bad ones are more vocal on the Kramer side because they expected better, or just because. Just look at the draw. Sometimes if you get 10 people who get 10 bad Epiphones, 10 bad Kramers, one person who gets a bad Epiphone will write a review on it and 9 will say nothing and just return it. And maybe the Kramer people, all 10 of them got a bad one, will be like, this is the worst thing that ever happened in the history of the world. Because people can't cope with like something not being perfect these days. You know, people are just not good. So yeah, it could just be more vocal people got bad ones. And that happens from time to time. So I would say they're probably on par. But again, I haven't really been tracking the feedback on those guitars because I don't particularly think I would like either of them. Personally, Todd says, I've played both brands on stage, just saying. Well, there you go. And Marsha says, I don't say that's any better. I just don't think either one is worse than the other. I mean, something's got to give one way or the other, right? And hey, Chord Dave says, Ricky Compton. Hey, Ricky, hope you're doing well, man. Jack Collins says, when I found out about the Epiphone, you have high action right out of the box. You have unlevel frets, and that's the price you're paying nowadays. They should crown and level the frets. I don't think they're ever going to be good out of the box, like perfect out of the box. I mean, sometimes you'd get them, and I think it comes from the I think it comes from the retailer you buy it from. If you buy direct from Epiphone, it's going to be straight from the factory. If you buy it from a retailer, I know some retailers do a very basic setup before they send it out. I've never had an issue really with stuff straight out of the box from Thomann, so that's why I go back to them time and time again. I think they do kind of do a little bit of a touch up on things, or just check it out. It's not too bad. So yeah, just check from your retailer. Maybe some are better than others that way. T says, Dave, I'd say the Epiphone DG and Greenie will be from 1749 to 1949. I worry that you could be right on that, T. The Dave Grohl 335 and the Greenie Epiphones. I'm hoping that they'll start to see a little bit of sense and they'll try and reprice their stuff. I think it depends what Greenie they bring out. As I've said a few times, if they have some sort of a actually aged model where they've got any kind of like relicking on it, or it's and I do think they're as I've said a few times, like I've been told that they're working on trying to bring a relicking version to, not specifically a Greenie, but like a way of bringing Epiphone Murphy Lab stuff, which it'll just be like, say, Fender's Road Worn series. Everything will just have the same. Every single guitar will have the exact same, what do you call it, like relicking done to it. So I don't expect them to be spectacular, but if they can do Greenie, for example, they're going to charge big money for it. You're definitely talking $15.99 plus if it's relicked. So I don't know. I mean, look, Cesar could be sitting here watching this now on Monday morning when he goes into the office thinking that Dave guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Lots of people think that, but then quite often everything I say that sounds crazy comes true like a year later. So who's a conspiracy theorist now? And I am talking about guitar stuff because that's normally what I talk about. But man, we have broken so many things on this channel over the last few years. And I've said, hey, this is going to happen. And then it didn't happen for like, I don't know, a year, 2 years. And then people start going, oh, if only someone had seen this happening 2 years ago. It's like, I said it, but people weren't watching. So yeah, in terms of look, the Dave Grohl's going to, here's the thing with the Dave Grohls. It doesn't matter what they price them at. They're going to sell out because people are going to buy them and scalpers are going to buy them first. So if you don't buy them, scalpers are going to buy them. I'm hoping $15.99 is the height for them, but I'm scared of what price they're going to bring them out at. And I'm still saying they're going to bring out blue ones. I don't care what anyone colorizing a photo says. I think that was Andy the Guitar Geek who did that, and I love him. I think he's great, and I think he's a really good YouTuber, but I think he's wrong in this one. I think there's going to be a blue one. But he might have insider information from Thomann or somebody like that because he has some connections. So who knows? The Magnetic Fisherman is here. Great to see. It says Batwing headstock on an SG with Batwing pick guard. Why not? All the Batwing stuff. Very good. Todd Continues, Mar says, I'll agree they could both be improved upon, but the price would go up, I'm sure, to clear blue sky. Yeah. Ryan says, the Kramer I tried was an SM1. QC was alright, not great, but the same as an Epi. Can't imagine buying one over the same price Jackson or Ibanez. Those are much nicer. If they're nicer, then yeah, wouldn't go with it. I don't know. I've never been a huge Kramer fan, but that's just I do kind of think the older ones, 80s ones obviously are more appealing for some reason. But I don't know, man. I'm not in that market. I'm not in that market for that kind of guitar too often. So, you know, I I don't want to say anything bad about them because I like their guitars. I like the music that they've made over the years. I just don't think I'd be picking up one. But hey, what's good is you can pretty much buy, no matter who you are, you can pretty much buy whatever guitar right now that you have a thing for, which is great. John says, if the prices of Epiphones keep going up, they'll cost as much as a Gibson label. Yeah, that's what we've been saying, John. And I've been saying for almost 2 years that it's coming. Over 2 years. When the Alex Lifeson guitars came out, the last Epiphone one that was the Viceroy Brown ones that are $899. I was saying then that they were going to be $14.99 and up, or $1,400 and up in that video I said. So it's over 2 years now because that was in April of 2021. And that's when I started talking about it. And people were like, their Epiphones are never going to be over 1,000. Look at us now. and yeah, and in fact, in some places, I think, was it Robert who told us last week that he went to buy one of the new Epiphones and it was like 2,500 Australian dollars that he was quoted for it, which worked out still at a crazy price when we translated it to US dollars. So yeah, it's getting crazy out there, guys, and it's not going to. I don't think it's getting any better anytime soon. We can only hope. Let me see. Scott says pots use some contact cleaner or swap out for a new one. Both methods are cheap and easy. Yeah, that's for John in terms of your tone knob. I think your tone knob only going between 5 and 9. Yeah, contact cleaner or swap it out for a new pot. Yeah, new pots are quite cheap. They're not that expensive. So if you know how to do that, get yourself a new pot. Ryan says, I'm loving the Gretsch Jim Dandy I got today though. Fun little guitar, sounds awesome. I've always thought, as I said on Facebook, I always thought they were kind of cool. Yeah, I've considered picking one of those up because they're a fun little, cool little guitar. I like them a lot. Yeah, and they're a nice way to add a Gretsch to your collection if you don't have one already, because they're not super expensive. I can't remember the price there, but I know that they're a good pickup for sure. Fred says, I used cheap contact cleaner for less than $10 on my craptastic pots and it sorted them right out. There you go. And Scott has a link there for my Batwing video. I do hope you liked the opening to it because that was fun. I actually recorded that video twice because halfway through the first time the microphone cut out, and I was much happier with the first version, but it's too late because half of it had no sound. So yeah, you got the version you got. So if you haven't watched it, by the way, do go and watch it. Give us a like and all that sort of stuff. I do appreciate all that. Fred says it's nice to have a guitar that doesn't just randomly cut out when you breathe. I don't deserve such luxury. That is a luxury indeed. Bug lips. We'll go back to calling you bug lips now just for the crack. Todd says, Dave, the Diablo SG is pretty much what I feel like you're describing. Tony Iommi received one of the first ones made, and that was the way he described it. I've played a Diablo SG. They're nice, but yeah, it's not quite. It's kind of halfway to where I want them to be. Ideally what I want them to do is just to make a slimmer Les Paul, like the same body width as an SG, and maybe put an SG horn on it instead of the Les Paul horn. I don't know. Some of the carvings, I just mash the two together, Gibson. That's what I want. But you're not completely wrong. In any way, Todd. I think in fact, Diablo SGs are great. I wish they would bring them back, but I'm sure they'll do something with them at some point. Try and make it a big reissue thing and charge, I don't know, $8,000 for them or something. Scott says, where do people here shop guitar gear? Mostly online or in brick and mortar shops? Yeah, well, just because of the part of the country I live in where there is a guitar store, but never have anything. Well, the times I've gone to it, and I haven't in a long time, times I've gone to it, they've never had anything that I was interested in that much. And when I did ask about something, they were asking for ridiculous money. So yeah, I do most of my shopping online. Thomann. And the great thing is here, because we're part of the EU, if when I get something, I have 14 days to return it, no questions asked, and free returns. So so it works out well. If I like the look of something, I can try it out, send it back. I think it's 14 days, maybe it's 28 days now. But I've never had a problem with Thomann. They're pretty cool. I mean, and they know I make videos sometimes with guitars and then return them, and it's not a case that I do that on purpose. I don't buy a guitar with the idea to return it, but sometimes I'll just be like, I don't think I'm going to keep this one after doing that. And they're pretty cool. I like them over there. They always help me out if I have some questions as well, which is good. Let me see. Scott says, I've been thanked before. That's a weird one. All right, well, thanks, Scott. We do appreciate all you do. Andrew says, I buy most of my gear from Sweetwater. They're the best. I do, and I've said this before, I do wish they would open up here so that I could get candy when I get guitars as well. I feel very upset that Thomann don't send me candy. So Thomann, start sending me candy. Some German candy, please. It'd be great. Or like whiskey. It's fine. That's good too. And yeah, but you know, it's all good. Marcia says, Ryan, I've heard lots of good feedback with the Jim Dandy. It's a nice little guitar. The sound samples are pretty good. It's a lovely guitar. I dig it. And it comes in some nice, interesting, fun colors as well. If you're looking at it, there's some special edition colors they did. I think the red and a blue one and stuff. It's a good little model. Buglip says, I got a pile of pedals online because it was easy. But any new amps or guitars, my preference would be in store if they got it. Yeah, that'd be fun. If you can find somewhere with good stuff, for sure. I want Jim Dandy or the one with the pickup. Can't remember the name of it. Yeah, I don't know the one with the pickup. Glenn says, the last 4 guitars I bought from Sweetwater, 2 from the local shop. 2 from Sweetwater, 2 from local shop. Right down the middle. There you go. Let me see, what have we got? Mar says, now we're all good, Dave. Todd and I are guitar besties for life. Just a good old fashioned debate. I just worry for you guys. I don't want you to fall out. It's all good. Ryan says, yeah, the Gin Ricky is the same, plus pickups, and I don't have much use for a pickup. Very good. My name is Glenn, but my street name is Timeout. Oh, Glenn, this is why we love you, man. One of the reasons why we love you, of course. There is 2 other reasons. What have we got? Tom says, my name is Tom, but I am bent. Well, there you go. I mean, that's all we need to know, I think. But we love you, Tom. We love you, and it's great to have you here. What else have we got? I've lost the comments again. 3 Chord Dave. There we go. That's where I was, isn't it? No, that's not it. I'll be on that one soon. All right, sorry guys. So just to make you aware, what happens is, I think YouTube is at fault when I'm reading through comments, because I'm on the OBS software now. I was on a different thing, but now I'm not. So now I'm using OBS. So the comments just dump in on top of me when sometimes I'm reading a comment and then get stuck. So we'll do our best. I'm trying to keep an eye on it to make sure that I get to the end of the comments by the end of the show. But sometimes I don't make it, and I will do my best to call out. So just to call out now, I think we've got plenty of time. But if something is important, or you definitely want me to read it out, there's 2 ways to do it. You can put at 3 Chord Dave at the start, so I know for sure if I'm skipping messages at some point to read out that. And the other ways is you can do super chats, and those pop up straight in front of me. So if you want to do that route, that's cool too. But if you write Chord Dave, I should see it as well. So I'll do my best to read out everybody's comments. So let's try that. Todd says the second D in Todd is silent. Just FYI. I thought it was Todd. Sorry for mispronouncing it the last few years for you, but there you go. Tom says, I've been making guitars as a hobby for 20 years. Not next though, but them rough. Buy them rough. Yeah, those are necks are hard. That is the thing. I mean, people think guitar necks are easy, but they're not. So yeah, definitely very cool stuff, Tom. Something that I definitely would like to copy on there. Get in and make some guitar bodies. Make some full guitars for sure. Why not? I'm working on some stuff. Hopefully, eventually, I'll get there. Make my own guitars. Then I can be like, I want them to do this, but just show you instead of trying to explain it badly. That's what I'd hopefully get to at some point. In the next couple of years on the channel here. Vincent says, Dave, hope you don't buy one of those really thin Les Paul guitars that came out a few years back. I really like those, Vincent. I have had my eyes on one for a long time, but there was it was the 2015 ones that I think this 2015 was the last time they did them. But they did a gold top with P90s, and there was only 100 of those made, I believe, maybe less than 100, and I want to pick one of those up at some point. So I've said before, like, I want to pick up a 2015 guitar, a Gibson, one of the ones with the cool case and the robo tuners and all that sort of stuff to have in my collection. But like, that's my 2015. So that's the one I'm looking for, is the gold top with the P90s. Because there's so few of those made. But every time one comes up, it's either ridiculously priced or it's some dude who's kind of sketchy in Bulgaria. Who I'm like, yeah, you kind of got bad reviews. I don't think I'm going to buy off you. So yeah, I know they're not brilliant. But I really like them. So I'm going to pick one up at some point, maybe, if I can get a good deal on one. But I get where you're coming from, Vincent. I get where you're coming from. Tom says, I love working on my guitars. It relaxes me. It's a nice hobby. I do enjoy it. Kramer ESP in the 80s in NY and NJ and NYC. Glenn says, I agree. I can work on a guitar for a few hours and come out relaxed. There we go. Yeah. It's good to know what relaxes, Glenn, because, you know, sometimes we got to calm them down. ESP was all custom NYC back then. Have some friends that worked at ESP. ESP would build whatever you wanted back in the day as long as you could pay. I mean, that's the way it should be, right? I think that's actually getting to the way the Gibson made for measure is. But as you can imagine, if it's Gibson, they want serious money for whatever. So you could be like, I want a gold top Les Paul. And they're like, it's made to measure. That's an extra $6,000. Maybe not quite that extreme, but they do apparently just like add on a lot of money for every single thing you want, even if it's just a standard thing that's available. Tom says the Kramers are for sale are not the same level as the ones they made for EVH, like most signature models. Oh yeah, I'm sure that's 100% correct. Definitely. Marcia says, I checked online. A few sources, including Wikipedia, seem to make it sound that Kramer still has some guitars in New Jersey, but maybe that's not up to date. I mean, I don't know for sure. I would have thought that's, yeah. And maybe they do. As they're part of the Gibson family, I'm surprised if they do, but it's not impossible. Scott says, I want a 6-string Jackson Warrior. I love my WR7, but it's a nice guitar. But it's such a nice guitar. I'd like for one for when I'm not in the chuggy 7-string mood. I mean, there you go. What a good mood to be in. John says it was a Monty Python reference. Mangrove Throat Wugger. Yeah, I understand, John. No, it's all good. All good. No worries. Tom says, I saw an Ibanez Explorer listed for $8,000 last week. I mean, that is, wow. That's a price. That is a price. I hope whoever has it listed for that gets it. Not the $8,000, just gets it. Matt says some of the entry-level Kramers are great guitars. The Kramer Beretta Special can be had for around £150 new. Yeah, I heard a lot of great things. What was it? Was it who had a signature model Kramer last year? Was it Tracy Guns? He's funny. A lot of talk about Kramer. A lot of love for Kramer, which there should be. I mean, they've made some great guitars down the years. There's no doubt about that. Um, they're very interesting and fun. I mean, yeah, it's a guitar company that really shouldn't and don't. I don't think take themselves all that seriously at the minute, at least. Glenn says, Dave, I just got a text from the band in your street. They appreciate you turning the music down. They're having trouble hearing their feedback. They said you could turn it up a little louder. Thanks, Glenn. I'm glad they texted you because they were back. They were practicing today, and I'm not going to tell you how it was because somebody gave out to me last week for complaining about that band too much. So I'm not going to complain about them. But improvements were not made. Let's just say that. They were not made. I thought they had been made, but no. It's fine. I think their regular guitarist went on holidays for a while, and he's back. Maybe it had creative differences fall out, and then they resolved them somehow. Let's see. Tom says, Marsha, Ed had a couple of builders, and they had to make Ed's guitars 5150, 1984, 91 8V, 918V. Kramer, etc. Hot for Teacher Kramer 2. I'm an EVH nerd. Well, it sounds like it, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Good stuff, man. Mar says, Dave, all I know is that Gibson, Epiphone, Kramer are all having an identity crisis. And yes, I've always said negative experiences tend to be vocalized more than a positive feedback. Oh, listen, I get where you're coming from. The thing I find is, yes, negative things do get vocalized more, but you also have, and like what I genuinely think, like sometimes you can have, like I said, 10 people will have a bad experience, a negative experience, and sometimes only one of those people will speak up, but other times 10 people out of those 10 will speak up and say something. And some people will just be like, oh, that sucks, I'll never buy one of those again, but they won't tell anybody. They won't like write online about it, or we've this radio show in Ireland called Joe Duffy, Live Line with Joe Duffy. And it was funny, like, man, when you see work in retail, if you pissed somebody off because you wouldn't do what they wanted, like, you're like, I want this for half price. You're like, I can't do that. I'd be like, I'll call Joe Duffy tomorrow. I don't care. Call him. But yeah, anytime anyone has a problem here, they're just like, oh, call Joe. Maybe it's died off in the last couple of years, but it was definitely like, anything wrong, we'll call Joe Duffy. And you'd be on the radio. It's like, okay, fine. But the point to that is, like, if everybody who got a bad guitar spoke about it, or called radio stations, or wrote letters to newspapers and all that sort of stuff, the papers and radio stations and all would be full of people with bad experiences. But a lot of people don't bother. They just think, oh, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to buy their guitars again. Then they start a YouTube channel, wait for 3 years, and then start shitting all over that brand. So let me tell you about the brands I bought 3 years ago. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, what I'm trying to say is, like, some people just won't say anything if they have a bad experience, while other people vocal. And sometimes with the launch of a product, all the people who get bad ones will start talking about it. And remember, with all these mass-produced guitars, there's going to be really bad ones. There's going to be really good ones. It's luck of the draw, really. If you get a good one, you're lucky. If you get a bad one, you just haven't been as lucky. But usually you can get one that's okay and can be fixed up. Most of the problems have been ironed out at that stage when they get sent out. You would hope. Anyway, but there you go. Hopefully I was clear. I think I was clear as mud on that one. But, you know, sometimes people talk more than other times, is all I'm trying to say. But I get where you come from, Marcia. Todd says he's having technical difficulties. I'll rejoin the chat shortly. All right, Todd, take care, man. Hopefully you can get those sorted. Tom says, my teenage bedroom was covered with EVH photos, floor to ceiling. There you go, man. I mean, that's fandom right there. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I had all kinds of posters on my wall when I was a kid. From Star Wars to Guns N' Roses. So there we go. Scott says, the BB King, Emily Wolf, and the Brown Owl ES guitars are the best value from Epiphone now, in my opinion. BB King, Emily Wolf, and the Brown Owl ES. How much is the Brown Owl? $12.99? Or is it $9.99? It was $9.99. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, if you're after an ES, those are not bad prices. Compared to what they were. Although I think I saw that the BB Kings have been increased again, which is putting them well over 1,000 now. I think they're like 1150 in some places. But yeah, the Emily Wolf is still a good price. If she had like a blue one, I wonder why they haven't made a blue one of those. But yeah, it's a nice guitar for sure. Marsh says, that's my entire point. They are largely probably on par with each other. But of course, there are some exceptions to the rule. Okay, Todd, we miss you. Come back soon. Tom says, learning some setup and basic lutherie work was fundamental to me. It's important. It can be a pain though. But yeah, that's great, Tom. Glad you got into that. A lot of people don't. I used to get just awful. I used to be just awful at doing it. And I'm not any better, but I try. Scott says, very respectable work, very hands-on indeed. Marcia says, the Emily Wolf Sheraton really looks sick. I just wish it had 2-tone and volume knobs. I think it's 1 tone and 2 volumes or vice versa. Is it? I don't know which way around it is. Rich C says, sell an old actually aged Epi is a new relic Epi as a new relic Epi, $17.99. I mean, you could try. Yeah, you never know. Todd is back. He says he thinks the glitch is fixed, which is good news. D-Max says, the Emily Wolf Epi is one of the best guitars I've played lately. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I've heard lots of good things about them. Just wish they were in blue, you know. As I said, Marge says, I learned some basics myself. I was very interested, but it was mostly because I'm too poor to afford taking my guitar to a shop. Yeah, because pricing can get up there price-wise for sure, especially find more things that need to be done. Tom says, I love the EDS 1275 Emily Wolf plays. I'm not familiar, but I'm sure it's nice. I know what the EDS 1275 is. I just don't know her specific one. Obviously the double neck there it's an interesting guitar. I used to really want a double neck when I was younger, and then I got older and was like, those things are probably really heavy. So yeah, those are not on my list right now, but I did used to want one so bad. T says, Dave, they might do something similar to what Martin have done in printing a photo onto the wood. That's an interesting, yeah, because they used to do the print, of course. Gibson used to do the print of Orville on the back, or on some models they've done it right. I think Trogley had one on his channel this week where he showed one of the old models with Orville on the back. It's an interesting move. I don't know if I would ever want my picture put on a guitar 100 years after I died. I don't think, or however many years, I don't know. Anyways, it's all what you think. Tom says, Marsh, yeah, you nailed it down. There's a major identity crisis sending them all over the map with things. I mean, that's a whole conversation in itself, for sure. Tom says, Marsh, I learned to do it for the same reason. I can't afford to take it to the shop. My advice on that, guys, is befriend a luthier. Befriend one and be like, oh, hey, you fix guitars? I do too. I have some guitars that need work. Help me out, bro. And then just be like, I'll bring that up tomorrow. Again, to fix it for you. I'm just kidding. I do pay my pal Marty who fixes up guitars for me sometimes. But yeah, that's what you got to do. Either that or try and find somebody and marry them. If you can, find a luthier and marry them. I think that'll be a good move. If there's any luthiers out there wanting to explore that course with me, drop me a line. Email's in the bottom of all the video descriptions. If I get any marriage proposals via email now, I will know you watched the show. So Marcia says, yeah, we all pay for that identity crisis, literally and figuratively. Absolutely. Yeah, they're trying to figure out what to do with it for sure. Billy Field says, it's mostly the QC issues that sucks in most of the new guitar. If you are paying that kind of money, you'd expect to be perfect out of the box. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Billy. There's a lot of I have a lot of issues with that. If you pay a lot of money for a guitar, it should be perfect out of the box. They do a QC check. I think it's a bit cheeky when you get, like, say, for example, you buy a new Gibson. You get this card to say it's passed quality inspection. And you're like, well, then why is the bridge installed crooked? Or something like that, you know? Some stupid QC issues. It's like, who checked this? Why are they incompetent? And I don't mean any disrespect to the guys who work on the Gibson factory line, because you know what? They're under way too much pressure. And that's why these QC issues happen. You know, they either need twice as many staff, or they need to just be like, okay, realistically, we can't make those numbers that we were making before because the quality's not going to be there. Anyway, it's all good. Hopefully they will figure it out, and that quality is more important than numbers. I don't think they will. We'll see. Tom with the second super chat of the night. Thank you, Tom. I really appreciate that. Says, how was I sleeping on your channel? Great content, mate. Tom, that is super cool of you, my friend. Thank you so much, and really appreciate it. I'm glad to have you here. And you know, we are here every Saturday night. Well, most Saturday nights, and videos go up. And we're glad to have you with us, man. Great to have you a part of the community. And most of these guys here, most of them are okay. You know, just look out for the ones who bite. I'm not going to tell you who they are, but those are fun. Thanks so much, Tom. It really means a lot. Tom says, I bought an Ampet 88S2 head switcher. Can't wait for it to arrive. I'm going to have to look that up, man, because that sounds cool. Not fully aware of it myself, but that sounds like a cool thing. It says, I'll finally be able to run all my big heads with running to switch speaker and head input cables without... there we go. Or without input cables. Very good, man. That sounds super cool. That is definitely. I'll be honest with you. I don't really know how to work something like that, but I'm sure it's cool. I'll have to look into it. You know, at some stage I'll figure all this stuff out. Scott says, unfortunately, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, there was no YouTube unboxing videos documenting the actual QC of new products. Was QC better, or is that not necessarily the case? What I will say, Scott, for that is, if you're just talking about Gibson, right? There was a smaller team at Gibson making a lot less guitars in the 50s, and quality was much more important than quantity to them at that point. And the 60s, I think it was probably went away of, they started to get into the point of making a lot more guitars. They might have had a few more people. I still think quality was very important. I don't think it started to slip at that point. But then in the 70s, you know, things started to maybe not go so well. Maybe they were pushing things a bit harder. Cuts were made and stuff like that. So who knows? I definitely think under the Henry J era, there was a less of a focus on quality and more on, does it look fancy? Does it look nice from afar? Can you hang it on a wall, and is it going to be a good investment for people, or can we tell people it's a good investment? That's kind of where they got in the end. And now the new crowd are trying to still correct things. But yeah, hopefully, I mean, I don't know, to be honest with you, yeah, there was no unboxing videos or dudes like me making videos going, hey, Epiphones are too expensive, what the fuck? But yeah, I'm sure there are still people in guitar shops giving out about them, to be honest. Maybe not as vocally as people do online, but it's all good. Tom says, I've bought and sold for 35 years, always upgrading myself. I mean, that's the way to do it, Tom. And yeah, I mean, how old am I now? Yeah, I've been buying and selling since I was 12, 13, so not too far behind you. But we have been... I've been doing a bit more of it in the last couple of years, and it's fun as well to do buy and trade stuff. John says, Gibson tried to trick us into paying more for Epiphones when they use the signature models to get us. I don't know, man. This is a part of the master plan, you know. Who knows what's really up their sleeve? I don't have the full thing, but yeah, they're trying to do something. Definitely, signature models are a big part of where they're going. What they're doing. Ben says, what would everybody rather, a high-end Epiphone LP custom or standard, or a Gibson LP tribute? Depends what you mean by high end. Like, it's got Gibson pickups and electronics, or is it like finished better QC wise and everything? I like the Gibson tributes. Um, if that package was just a little bit better, and I get why it's their cheap version, it's just a little bit better or just a little bit cheaper, I think it'd be great. Um, and bear in mind, like I'm talking about, say if because those Les Paul tributes, right? If they were 9.99, and I know they've recently just gone up to 12.50, but if they were 9.99, I think they're a buy all day long right now. And I say that as someone who not very long ago, like I'm talking less than 5 years ago, bought a Gibson SG special for like 6.99, 5.99, $600, brand new, not on special offer. That was just the price of that guitar. It was a 2018. Yeah, I think it was a 2018. I've since sold it, but it's a really nice guitar. I loved it. It was brilliant. Very basic, but it was, I mean, that's what I loved about it. With the mini humbuckers and everything. Played great. It was fantastic out of the box, actually, that one. Like that was 600. I keep saying 6.99 when people ask me about it, but it was like, it was 5.99, brand new for a Gibson guitar. That was great. So less than 5 years later, the cheapest Gibson is 12.50, and I think that's too much of a jump in that time. I don't think other brands have jumped that much in that time space. In terms of what I prefer, there's a lot of play because there's the whole it's made in China, and there's some decisions to be made about that, and then and if you care about that, it's the pickups, and is the wood quality as good, even if it's like, as you're saying, a high end. I'm not so sure. So the likelihood, I would probably go with the Epiphone, to be quite honest with you, but I'd want it to be really, really good. Yeah, especially once now that they have the new Kalamazoo headstock. If it was still at the old headstock, I would pick the Gibson all day long. Anyways, rolling on. Be good. An interesting comment from to hear what all the guys think there as well. Thoughts on the Ventera 2 Mexicans with rosewood again? Yeah, Pads. I just found out about these this morning, so I haven't really gone through a lot of them. I did mention them briefly earlier in the stream, but I think it's really interesting. I think the price point is pretty nice that they're coming in. I think they're starting at about $11.99 US, maybe $11.49. I think I saw. I think we should be seeing them in October, so that's good because they're not far away. But yeah, I like it. I think rosewood. I mean, look, PRS put rosewood on SE guitars, so there's no reason why they can't be in that price range with rosewood. So I'm glad they're doing it. It'll be interesting to see what they do. In terms of sales, like how popular they are. I think they'll do really well. I want to know a bit more information. I'm hoping to find out some more in the next week or so about them. And I mean, I don't know when Fender are releasing them, but they started to leak, so they're not far away, I don't think, from doing a full reveal. But there's a lot of models coming out. It should be cool. Should be cool. But thanks for asking, Pads. That's a cool question. All right. DMAX says the Emily Wolf Sheridan is $12.99 Canadian. That's equivalent to $9.82 USD or $8.82 euro. Too pricey for me. Let's find out what Thomann have for the Emily Wolf price wise. So what's the White Wolf or something? The new one, €1,050. Yeah, come on. The prices they're just not lining up. I mean, I don't know where they're getting their prices in Europe from, but for some reason they're just charging more to us European customers by a good bit. I mean, that's €200 more compared to the price range. You know, what do you call them? Currency conversion. So it's interesting that's that much difference. So yeah, if Cesar wants to answer that for me, we could have a nice little chat, I think, but I don't think he will. Grandpa Joe is here. Great to see you, Grandpa Joe, as it always is. Says, hello, Dave, and all today. Wishing all a safe and happy weekend. Of course, we wish that for you, Grandpa Joe. Great to see you. It's always great when you drop in to see us. And Pads says, if you want a well-made guitar for $1,400, buy an Eastman. I'm a fan of Eastman, Pads. Yeah, I've one on my wish list right now that I'm I'm just hoping to get. I just can't find anywhere selling one. The one I want is the 486B, and I just can't find anywhere outside the UK. And the reason I say that is because if I buy it from the UK, there's all like they have to take the tax off, then I have to pay tax when it gets here to Ireland, and then I have to. So I'd rather just go through Thomann, but they don't do Eastman yet for some reason. Although they might in the future, but that's not official news or nothing. But hopefully, Tom says I almost never buy new. I've been going down that road. I prefer to buy older stuff now, so rarer that I buy new stuff. But have to admit, still they still have my they still have their claws in me, and they always will. I do like I spend more time looking at old guitars than new ones, secondhand guitars even. Ryan says we have about a dozen good shops in Toronto and another 10 average ones. I rarely buy online. So yeah, if I lived anywhere near a city with lots of options like that, I would definitely go to more stores. I think that's a very good option to have. Unfortunately, I have one store and it's not, and I haven't been to it in years. I should say that, but that's because, as I've said, the last time I went, it wasn't good. So it's like, all right, well, I'm just gonna use that online retailer. That is good. The only thing that annoys me about Thomann, and if anyone from Thomann is out there, I've said this to you 1,000 times before, but I don't understand why it takes me over a week to get something from Germany, and somebody in Alabama can order something and have it like 3 days later. Why does it take longer to get it to Ireland from Germany, which is a lot closer than Alabama? Why? Just tell me. And it's coming from Germany. It's not coming from your Maryland warehouse or nothing. So anyway, they drive me insane, but it's fine. They always do take care of me and I love them. So there we go. Rich C says MF nearest shop 40 miles away, limited stock. Musician's Friend has gotten my dollars for the last 3 years or so. That'll do it. It'll do it. Yeah. If it's going to get, the limited stock, then you're not going to have everything you want from time to time. Matt says, agree on the Eastman's, great shout, or great guitars. Indeed. I got to play a couple at NAMM this year and they were really, really nice. It felt nice in the hand. Obviously they had them set up properly to play well and everything. But they only had a very small booth and it was kind of hidden away from all the other guitar stuff. So I don't know how many people actually visited their booth, but I went looking for them and they're really nice guitars. They're T64, I think is the P90 version, but all the T486 is a really beautiful guitar that I really want. One thing as well, another thing about that, the reason I haven't bought one of those is the only place I found one at a decent price was Peach Guitars, and Colin from the Guitaristas had some issues with Peach Guitars. And in solidarity, I won't buy from them because of that, because they treated him pretty badly. And, we support Colin because he's correct all the time. Love Colin. So, yeah, won't buy from Peach because of that. So, had to let that one go. But I'm sure I'll pick one up at some point. They are very, very nice, those Eastmans. And Muddy H2O is always telling me to buy one. But he tells me to buy everything, so... Scott says, well, affordable or not, $12.99 is the price the BB King was before it was shortly discontinued. Now it's back in, no price increase. That's the only reason I think those are good value. My brother has a Jim Dandy awesome sofa guitar. There you go. Yeah, I mean, they're nice guitars. I really do like them. Marcia says, people always say guitars were crappier in that era, Scott. Unless you paid big bucks for a fancy guitar, people say beginner or intermediate guitars weren't like today's. I wouldn't know from personal experience. Oh, for sure. Like a more budget-friendly guitar up to, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago was crap. Like you were paying, the thing is, you can pay less than €100 for a guitar from Harley Benton and get a playable, really nice guitar that 100 times better than any beginner guitar I had when I was like 12, 13, 14. For sure. And like those things, some of us played terrible beginner guitars. They were just uncomfortable, not well made out of scrap wood, I think. I don't know. But yeah, some of the budget guitars these days are amazing. But 50s, 60s, 70s guitars, like from proper manufacturers. Some of them were still very good. But yeah, I mean, there's a reason why the lawsuit guitar era guitars existed, is because the Japanese companies were like, we can make those guitars but better. And they did. So made videos about that in the past. But yeah, I think the 50s and 60s though, like they are a little bit overrated. Like some of them were great and some of them were not so great, or sounded great and didn't sound so great. There's lots of people, lots of videos, people talking online about how good they were or good they weren't, for example. So you can check out those. I've obviously never played too many 50s Gibsons or any 50s Gibsons, not even any 60s Gibsons at this point. And I may at some point in the future, but who knows? Who knows? But yeah, from personal opinion, just in terms of cheaper guitars are way better now than they used to be. Mark says, oh, that was what we got there. Tom says, I usually buy gear from friends or recommended people. That's a great way to make sure you're getting a good deal. And can only speak to what people who played in those decades have said. Indeed, Tom says is to avoid scams from recommended people or friends. That is a great way to avoid scams, to be honest. I'm going to start. I might have to start skimming some comments because I'm way behind. That's cool. The BB is the same price again. Encouraging. Yeah. I like the BB Kings. The Lucille's are very nice guitars. I just wish they'd brought out that red one. I liked that a lot better than the white one that they brought out here in Europe. Todd says, if anybody saw the pic of 2 vintage Flying V's that Joe Bonamassa posted recently, that pic is in a local guitar shop owned by my pal Don Murdoch. He sold stuff to Joe and Billy Gibbons, among others. Very cool, Todd. Let me see what we got. Nice. I'm pissed that I missed out on the Amos V when it was available. You and me both, Scott. I think we both said that before. Yeah, that would have been a nice one to pick up. Some of Joe Bonamassa's signatures have been great, and especially when you see the price the new ones are coming out at now. It feels like we missed a beat there. Robert's here. Good day, everyone. Sorry for the late arrival. Had a late one. Hope you're having a good week. Twanging. Great to see you as always, Robert. Happy Sunday morning to you, sir. All the way down there in Adelaide, I believe. Yeah, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. And you know, you're never late. We're always happy to see you. Marcia says, that's cool, Todd. I did see that pic. I remember you said once your friend has sold some big name players. That means he's got amazing guitars in his shop. Tom says, I've built some tube amps from scratch. That was fun. That would be an interesting project. I would have no clue where to start. I'd have a clue where to start with guitars. Nowhere would I know where to start with amps at all. But there you go. Ryan says, ESP will still build you anything you want. They have boutiques in Japan and you can design a guitar there. Very cool. Actually, that's something I'd love to look into someday. Who knows? Maybe if I get like 100,000 subscribers, I can do like a go to Japan and design a guitar with ESP. That'd be a fun celebration video, right? Marcia says, "Will ESP build me a couch?" I mean, if you got the money, they might. It might not be the most comfortable couch, but it'll be a couch. Tracy Guns, yeah. There we go. Yeah. so there you go. Corey says, "That's cool, Tom. I'd love to find someone to teach me how to build tube amps. Not much from learning from books. Not much for learning from books. I tend to pick things up better by watching someone work while they explain." That's very interesting. Yeah. Let me see where we got. Gonna have to just skip a handful of comments here to try and get through them all. Don't forget, if you do want to hear me singing happy birthday, I'll be doing that just after 12 o'clock for Rosie. Because I said I would for some reason last year, and then here we are doing it again. But I do mean it sincerely. Kramer should do a model where they have artwork like the Adam Jones models guitars, but it's that classic portrait of Kramer from Seinfeld. DMAC, that's a great idea. I like it. Benny says, so I wonder who was just looking at some guitar you know what and found a Marshall Origin 50 combo, a return for 430 euros, 90 bucks less than the Origin 20 combo, or the same 20 head at 3 quid. I mean, it sounds like a nice deal. Although I think it was Ryan who said previously that the Origin wasn't a great amp. when he got one, he didn't like it. So uh, maybe. But it sounds like a good deal, though. I mean, that's a pretty good deal. I'm not going to say it's not. Of course, as a whole, they still have lethal voltages inside. That thing that scares me off from just diving into tube amps. Ryan thinks that DMAX says that would be sick. So thinks that's a good idea. I believe that means. But there you go. It would be cool. Scott says, I'd have an Epiphone art guitar, but I want a picture of a lady yelling at a cat eating a salad on it. Yeah, that one, just put meme art collections. That would probably be incredibly well selling. I think they should do that. For sure. I wonder sometimes if they are just like reading through our chat and thinking like, oh, we'll pick up some good ideas from this group. That'd be fun. I don't know if they do, but Cesar, if you are watching, and you know, I've seen you leave us little messages. Maybe you could let us know. Tom says EDS 1275 is the Jimmy Page double neck. Indeed, and the Slash one. Slash has his signature one that came out a couple of years ago. As well. Here's what we got. Buglip says, I didn't know ESP made custom jobs. Thanks for that info. It might be expensive, but future me might just want that option. You never know. You got to treat yourself some stage. And that is an option. ESP Japan makes amazing guitars, like playable art, says Tom. Yeah, that is a statement for sure. I want a Nigel Tufnell guitar that's a Marshall stack. Oh yeah, that's a cool one. I think at one point they did do a Chibson version of that. They definitely. Oh no, I'm thinking up the time that they did a headstock guitar. I remember doing a video about it years ago. It was like the body was the shape of a Gibson headstock. And obviously had a headstock of that. It was I don't know why they did that one, but they did actually sell it for a while. They maybe still do. I don't know. Who knows? Buglip says, I play left-handed, so any place that will do custom work always has my interest. They'll do custom, but not left-handed. That's for sure. I mean, yeah. The guitar industry strongly discourages left-handed guitar players. I always think it's funny that not every guitar comes out, and not funny haha like funny weird, that not every guitar comes out in a left-handed variant, but there you go. Rich C says marriage is very rarely a good move in my experience. Oh man, Rich, you're upsetting me here. Mar says marry a luthier. My mom used to say I needed to marry a dentist. Maybe I need a dentist who does guitar work on the side at a shop. I mean, that is the ideal, you know, because that way you have the money to buy the expensive models and get them fixed up. So there you go. Very good. Dentist that does guitar work on the side. I must look out for that myself. Mugloop says, if I had woodworking facilities, I'd be very tempted to just start making my own. Yeah. I've had space, man. I got no space for nothing right now. Billy Fields says, good evening and have a great time and a fun day. You take care, Billy Fields. Thanks so much for dropping in to see us. It's been super cool. Booklip says, I thought about switching to right-handed, but I'd already bought a left-handed style, a telly style, and as I practiced on that, I got used to it, so I'm basically locked in. Indeed, yeah, you're on the way, so it's all good. John says, I don't have a computer and my phone keeps freezing, so I just see Dave and a spinning arrow, so I'm just going to call it a night. All right, John, you take care, man. Thanks for dropping in and adding so much to the conversation today. Do appreciate it. And it's always great to see you, so we'll see you soon. I hope. Tom says, I'm finally redoing my 80s rack. I have a Bob Bradshaw wire it. I'm having Bob Bradshaw wire. Wow, that's interesting. Great stuff. Yeah, nice to have an 80s rack. There we go. I said it. Let me see. John says, thank you, Scott. I just ordered a contact cleaner. Awesome. Let us know how it goes. Ryan says, I take that tribute. Saw one with a nice flamed neck yesterday. They feel great too. I forgot about that for a sec. Yeah, a lot of the tributes did come with flame maple necks, which is a nice touch to have at one of the cheaper end guitars, for sure. So yeah, I'd probably be torn, to be honest, because there is that something that having a Gibson over an Epiphone has. I don't know. It'll depend how high quality the Epiphone was. I would be conflicted. I will say that for sure. Anyway, Buglips/Fred says the good things about contact cleaner is that you can use it on many things. For sure. Wear eye protection when spraying it. You don't want that in your eye. Definitely don't want it in your not those kind of contacts. By the way, I wonder if the ladies of the GH era would be able to comment 1980s rack. I mean, we need to remember some of the new folks won't know what that is, and it's basically we are an unofficial Steel Panther fan club, and that's a song by Steel Panther. That's all Marsha's talking about there, and I worry every time that phrase comes up. But there you go. D-Mac says, I like the Gibson tributes. LPs and SGs are really good in my experience. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, I've never actually played one. Have I? Maybe I have. Maybe I have. Maybe I'm just talking nonsense at this stage. It's late. Tom says, I still play my cheapest Les Paul Studio from 1990. Great guitar. As good or better than my Nags. Very cool. Yeah. I mean, nothing wrong with a Studio for sure. Some are just made great. I would not disagree with that. What else have we got there? The load jumped in there. Did I see somebody say something about... Where's it gone? Just got a load of comments in the top, guys. Sorry about that. I think I saw my knees hurt. Did I? Was in the comments. Anyways, that's just... I'm going to miss a load of comments. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm missing yours. It's just because we got 7 minutes, so I'm going to try and get through as many as I can. Scott says, hey, Dave, Ryanair's Ireland's airline, right? Is Ryanair crazy? I've heard some stories. It is an Irish airline. It's not the Irish airline would be Aer Lingus, but yeah, it is. It's like our second airline. Yeah, it's like a low budget, crazy airline. Yeah, it's madness. Some of the stories you've heard are probably all true. I haven't flown with them since 2018. And when I did, it was thankfully just a short flight to the south of France. It was only like 2.5, 3 hours. But that was long enough to not really want to get on their planes anymore. And I've been talking about them a lot lately. But I mean, it's fine. You just got to remember, it's not really like everyone else's airline journeys. You're on a bus. It's just like your bus. It's odd. A bus where it's very loud. Yeah, anyway. Mark says, I keep saying Sweetwater is the only one that can save Guitar Center and the jobs of their staff. Who wouldn't want a local Sweetwater in their neighborhood? That's an interesting thought. Marcia, I don't know, to be honest, because I have not that many dealings with them with either. I've bought a couple of things as gifts and stuff over at Sweetwater and got them sent to other people. So, and all of those times they treated me very well. That's all I can say, really. My Knees Hurt is there. I knew I saw My Knees Hurt when I was scrolling through. How you doing, My Knees Hurt? Great to see you. It always is. So I'm only stopping in to kick the thumbs up in the nuts. I'm out back working on my 12x2 cab. I'm drinking Irish Death beers. Dude, great to see you. It's always great to see you. Thanks so much for dropping in to say hello and hit those thumbs up. That's super cool of you. Hyundai Strat 86 shitty guitar. I mean, sounds fun. My Knees Hurt. I do it, brother. Why didn't you tell me about Chord Dave? He is great. Well, thanks to Ben Tom. I do appreciate that so much. That is super cool of you. And yeah, guys, you got to be telling people. Come to the channel. We do appreciate you doing so. My Knees Hurt says, I like new guitars. Give me a 59 Les Paul and I will sell it, buy a house and fill it with cheap guitars. That is a great thing to do with it, to be quite honest with you. A good friend in high school played a 1957 gold top with PAFs. Nice. I would love that. Killer guitar. Yeah, I'm sure. Sounds very cool. Let me see. There are my favorite Super Strat style guitar. Here you go, Dave. You'll get there. I mean, I'll get to the end, but it'll be a while. But we do always finish up just around the 12 o'clock mark. Don't worry. about that. We'll get to the bottom. Just I'll skip a lot of comments to get there. Michael Courtois says, cheers Dave, setting up a small home recording setting, Mac Focusrite monitors. The tough thing will be learning a Cubase. I'm 55. Can you teach an old dog new tricks? Do you record at home? Michael, I don't particularly. I mean, just for fun, so I don't take it too serious. So literally plug into my Mac with I do have the Focusrite Scarlet, is it? And I just plug into GarageBand. I don't take it too seriously, so it's just for fun, just for messing around. So I'm not going to be able to teach you too much, but absolutely, there's some great tutorials on setting stuff like that up on YouTube. I'm sure you'll be able to find it. But yeah, my knees hurt there saying YouTube's great for tutorials on recording. I play into my computer 0.99999% of the time. So do I. I play into that a lot. Well, no, I actually love the Mustang Micro from Fender, just to stick on the headphones and play and just disturb nobody but myself. But yeah, that is a good thing to get set up. You'll have a lot of fun with it as well once you've set it up as well. Scott Bogfoot says, thanks for everything, Dave. Appreciate it. Greatest show and chat on YouTube. Most other live chats are like the audience from the country bar scene in the Blues Brothers. Thanks, Scott. I appreciate it. And I've been talking a lot to other people who do YouTube and stuff about live streams, and they've been saying that I should change the way I do it, not read all the comments and stuff like that. And I'm like, but that's where it came from. The whole idea was to like be inclusive and get everybody their chance to speak. And I know sometimes we just don't get through everything, but that's the plan. And I appreciate your help. I appreciate everybody in the community. We do have some good conversations, and we learn a lot about new gears and stuff like that. So I think it works, and as long as we can keep it this way, we'll do our best to do so. Music being too loud or not, we'll see how it goes. Ryan Byrne says, Origin 20 was the worst name brand amp I have played. There you go. But I knew it was Ryan who'd said something about that. That stuck with me because I remember thinking at some point I might pick one of those up. They looked kind of fun. But yeah, kind of off the list now, to be honest. Let me see. Michael says, thanks knees. Yeah, it's intimidating, but I'm going to dig in. You'll get there, man. It'll be cool for sure. Patrick Jean LeBlanc Hardy says, hello from the States. Hello, sir. Thanks for joining us. I'm glad to have you with us indeed. Ryan says, I sold my Benson combo amp last night. 5 minutes after I listed it, it was gone. I'm going to get a Car Mercury V or 5. I'm never sure which it is. Very cool, Ryan. It's 5 minutes after you listed it. That is, there you go. There you go, indeed. Moneyser says, how many people named Patrick live in Ireland? 12, I think is the answer to that. I've only known like about 12. So, very cool. All right, let's have a look. Aljon Go, the production manager for Epiphone, watches a lot of YouTube guitar shows. Interesting, yeah. Look for Aljon. Very interesting. Aljon is a great guy. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I didn't know, but I know had a little Twitter spat with not Twitter spat, Instagram spat with Cesar there last year, and he's been trying to figure out who my sources are ever since, and he has popped in on a couple of videos, I know, because there's a couple of things been said here and there, but he was telling me that information I had was wrong when it was right, about the Adam Jones Epiphone art collection series. Had the information, everything, all the specs and everything. That was a couple of weeks before they came out, I think, and he didn't like it. He didn't like it at all that I had all the information. He told me that it was all wrong, and it wasn't. But there you go. He didn't. Then he stopped talking to me. So anyway. Let me see, where are we now? We're over 12 o'clock, so we'll have to wrap up as we are here, but I've got to, at least it's not loading in any new comments. I think we're at the bottom. Todd says, Tom, will close call will usually give you change of perspectives. Don't change a thing, says Michael. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Cubase was almost daily show on YouTube with Greg Ondo and answer any questions you need. That's an interesting thing. I didn't know about that. All the other ones are named Colin. Lots of people call Colin for sure. Third time flatlining, but my first near-death experience. Oh, geez, that's. Let me see. I missed something for sure. There, Tom. But let me see. What did I miss? Wow. We're talking about planes. I was supposed to be on a ValueJet playing with my buddy that crashed over the Everglades. And when he got home, the plane died. I got sick, feeling my stomach, and skipped the flight. Wow, man, it's interesting. Sometimes it's just not our time, and yeah, we find out about it. Wow, that's amazing, man. Let me see what else we got. Marcia says, totally, Tom. A bunch of us here have been very sick and or disabled. Some have had very rough spots in life. I can't speak for everyone, but I've always seen the little things in life as a gift. That's how you should. William Forrest says, bye-bye all. Money's Hurt says, glad I caught the last few bits of today's show. Take care, folks. Have a great weekend. Do some chuggy wheelie wheelie. Indeed. All right, guys, it's nearly time for the final farewell. But I did promise Jess, so just bear with me just 1 second. And it's time for our yearly sing along. So guys, just before we wrap up, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you to Tom for the super chats. I do appreciate that so much, sir. It's super kind of you. Glad you're with us here in the community. Hope you'll stick around and enjoy it. All the new folks who dropped into the chat today, it was great to meet you all. We will see you again soon, I hope. And all the usual folks who are here, it's always great to see you too. Thanks so much to everybody for joining us. And thanks to Scott once again for supporting the chat as the moderator. Super cool of you, Scott. You do a great job. Thanks, man. Right, listen, thank you so much, everybody. I want you to say happy birthday to Rosie, because that's Jess's mom, because it's a nice thing to do. We're going to sing her happy birthday. And also Muddy H2O, our great friend, who hasn't made an appearance tonight, but I'll give him some shit for that tomorrow. He is turning a new age tomorrow as well, and I'm sure he's happy to be 27. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. My name's Chord Dave, and I will be back with another guitar-related video very soon. But until then, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rosie. Happy birthday to you. Oh, yeah. All right. Happy birthday, Rosie. Take care, you guys. I love you, and I miss you, and I'll talk to you very, very soon.